What's up everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm down at Hendrick BMW Northlake getting to check out the 2021 BMW X3 M Competition. Huge shout out to them for providing this performance SUV for me today. Make sure you guys check out their website. That will be down in the description below. This model here is finished off in a very beautiful photonic blue metallic. It has an MSRP just over $84,000. But let's go ahead and start off today's review by checking out what's up underneath the hood. And this is where you'll find the 3-liter twin power turbo inline 6-cylinder engine. This is paired with the 8-speed automatic transmission. It pumps out 473 horsepower around 5,600 RPM and 442 pound-feet of torque around 2,600 RPM. This features the xDrive all-wheel drive system. It weighs in right around 4,600 pounds. It'll do 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds, up to its top speed of 177 miles an hour. And with a fuel capacity of 17.2 gallons, you'll expect to see around 14 miles per gallon in the city and 19 out on the highway. This has a wheelbase of 112.8 inches. Its overall length is 186.2. It has a width of 74.7, a height of 65.6, and its ground clearance measures in at 8.4 inches. And now we can go ahead and move on to the exterior on the X3 M Competition. So I'm gonna start up front with the kidney style grille. You'll see on this model it's finished off in gloss black. We have the double vertical bars running throughout this as well, not only to give it that added aggressive look, but to provide maximum cooling for this engine. So there is definitely plenty of airflow allowed through that grille. You'll see a forward-facing camera right in the center of both of these surrounds. We have some more body-colored work separating the grille just to give it a nice look. You'll see all of the parking sensors in the lower section of the bumper as well, along with the forward-facing sensor itself. That is down in the lower section of the grille, where you'll see there's more mesh, more gloss black to give it a great contrast against this blue. And you'll see we have some aggressive contours running in the lower section of the front end as well. I really like these side areas here, just gives it a great look. You can see more of that gloss black and more mesh to provide cooling to vital components up front. And you'll also notice this has adaptive LED headlights. You'll see the headlight housings themselves have a really nice look to them. The turn signal is in the upper section, and then this also has LED DRLs. Those have a nice C-shaped design running underneath the headlight and the high beams themselves. And then last up, you'll see there's some really nice lines coming down the hood. We have ones that go all the way to the base of the A-pillar, and they meet nicely at the top section of the grille. As we make our way to the side profile now for the X3 M Competition, let's go ahead and start off with these wheels. So they do differentiate from the normal X3. We get the M wheels here that have a 5 Y-spoke design to them, along with a 2-tone finish. I think it's a really nice looking wheel, especially against this exterior color. You'll also notice just behind the wheels, we have the calipers finished off in blue along with the M logo. You'll see a nice gloss black trim piece just behind the front wheels with the X3 M badge as well. And then what I love about the side profile for the competition is these lines that run down the side. So starting up at the door handle height, you'll see there's a really crisp line that runs all the way to the taillights. We have another line in the lower section and then one in the side skirts, and they match well with the fender arches, just giving it that added aggressive look. This also has side mirrors that are finished off in gloss black, along with the integrated turn signal and a camera as part of the 3D camera system, which I'll show later in this video. This also has a sunroof. You'll see the roof racks are finished off in gloss black, along with all of the window trim. And then jumping back to the mirrors, you'll see they have some aerodynamic touches to them, which not only help improve with better aerodynamics, but also give them a sporty appearance as well. And finishing up in the rear for the X3 M Competition, I'm gonna start up top with the integrated spoiler. You'll see it has some really nice contoured edges to it, just flows nicely for the rear end, and there's some gloss black running just underneath it to tie in better with the rear glass. So I love the overall shape and the design. You'll see that the rear wiper blade is in the lower section of the glass to help improve with visibility. This has a backup camera with all the parking sensors in the lower section of the bumper. It also features a power liftgate. We have LED taillights that have a really nice design to them. And then down in the lower section of the diffuser, you can see it's finished off in gloss black. And this model also features the M Sport quad tip dual exhaust. Now it's time to go ahead and take a look at the interior on the X3 M Competition. So with the vehicle locked and the key in my pocket, all I have to do is grab on the door handle. You will hear it unlock, and we can go ahead and take a look at this beautiful door panel, where you'll see a combination of leather and stitching. We have carbon fiber running across the top, along with brushed aluminum all the way to where you can see an X logo, which is a really nice touch. We have the memory seating controls along with lock and unlock. This also features a 12-speaker Harman Kardon sound system. And then behind the grab handle, you'll see the trunk release along with all of the window and side mirror adjustments. And then at the lower section of the door, you'll see there's a good amount of storage space for any items you'd like to place there. And working our way to the interior now, you'll see the X3 M Competition down on the door sill, and we can go ahead and move on to these beautiful leather seats. You'll see the M badge up in the headrest, along with the gray stitching running down the bolsters. Very nice pattern to the inserts of these seats. They are heated and ventilated as well. You can also control the front section of the seat just by pulling on that tab to make it a little bit more comfortable. And then we have all of the lumbar and bolster supports, along with all of the automatic controls down on the side. And now once inside with my foot on the brake, we can go ahead and start it up. Where you'll see the digital gauge cluster, and over on the left side is the fuel gauge along with the miles per hour. On the right side is the tach and the engine temperature. You can also look at some more information by using a button on the turn signal stalk. And right now we can look at what gear we're in, along with some more information for the adaptive suspension, steering, and how the vehicle is handling. You can also scroll over and look at the MPG. You have some more information to look at, along with your TPMS. You can pull up your horsepower and torque figures and see those live readouts. We also have the music as well. And then when the navigation is on and running, that will show in the center of the screen. As we work our way to the steering wheel now, you'll see it's completely covered in black leather. We have the BMW logo stitched on the inside of it. You'll also see the M badge down below, along with the heated steering wheel control. Over on the left side, you'll see all the cruise and adaptive cruise control settings. On the right side, we have volume and tuning for the radio, along with Bluetooth and voice commands. And then you'll also notice the red M1 and red M2 buttons. These are configurable buttons, which I'll show later in this video. You can set up this vehicle exactly how you'd like to, so they are basically shortcuts to do that. You'll also notice this has the steering wheel mounted paddle shifters, which are finished off in aluminum. As we make our way to the left side of the steering wheel, you'll see there's a little bit of storage space down below for any items you'd like to place there. You'll also see all the headlight controls along with the parking lights. We have one air vent. And then making our way to the center, you'll see the 10.3-inch screen. So let's go ahead and start off with the camera system. As you can see right now, we have the rear-facing camera along with the top-down view on the right side. It will also show you if the doors were open, where they would be in relation to what's around you. So you won't open your door into anything, which is of course a great touch to see. We can also swipe this over and pull up the 3D view. So now we can see around this entire vehicle in real time exactly what's around the car, and you have these different camera angles that you can pull up to see exactly where you are. So I love that feature for this model. And you can also pull up the car wash setting. So you can use this in a car wash or even pulling into a parking spot and see exactly where this vehicle is. We can go ahead and pull up the home screen now, where you'll see the navigation. If I use this rotary dial down below, which I'll show here soon, we can scroll through and look at the radio along with phone, along with local traffic. There's the compass. And then the last page shows the date, the time, the weather, and other news. And then over on the left side, there's basically presets that you can go into. So you can look at your media, your phone. You can pull the navigation up in full screen. If we go to M setup, this is how you configure those red buttons on the steering wheel. So if I go into M2, you can go through the engine, the transmission, the chassis, and the steering, and you can control everything here. So you can go from comfort, sport, to sport plus for your chassis. You can do that for the engine. You can actually control the shifts for the transmission, whether you want them to react slower or become crisper and shift quicker, depending on the driving that you're doing. If we go back to menu now, we can scroll down to apps. And you have some apps that you can go through, which is nice to see, your M lap timer, news, and other information like that. And then just below that, you'll see more of the carbon fiber, giving this a really nice look. We have the red engine start stop button on the left side. And then there's also a shortcut to the intelligent safety. So you can go to configure individual and look at your pedestrian warning. You have your front collision, your side collision, lane departure assist, and your active steering. You'll see there's an air vent on both sides of those controls. And then right in the middle here, we have all of the presets along with volume for the radio. And just below that, you'll see this LCD screen. So if I go ahead and turn on the fan speed, you'll see that right in the center. We have the temperature adjustments on both sides as well, along with more recirc buttons on both sides and the heated and ventilated seat controls. You'll see the X3 M Competition badge just underneath that. And then with this tray open, you can see the wireless charging port along with two cup holders. There's also a USB and a 12 volt, and then we can go ahead and close that up if you'd like to. Over on the right side of the shifter, these are all the controls I was using for that center screen. So you can see we have the rotary dial along with map and navigation, menu, media, and phone, and a few buttons on the back side. And then making our way to the shifter now with my foot on the brake. If we go over left and all the way up, that is for reverse. So you'll see the backup camera up here as I just showed. We'll go back into the center here, and then over to the right would be drive. You can push P on the back to put the vehicle into park. And then on the top side of the shifter, this is a shortcut to adjusting how the transmission shifts. So you have 3 different settings that you can go through. Over on the left side, you'll see traction control along with your setup buttons. So you can go through and configure how the vehicle is driving with Sport, Sport Plus, and Efficiency. You have the suspension with Sport Plus and Comfort. And then we also have the steering wheel, which can go between Comfort and Sport as well. And then just behind that, we have the exhaust note button. We can turn on and off the parking sensors. There's a shortcut to the camera system along with the downhill assist control. And then right in the middle, we have the auto hold along with the electronic parking brake. And then moving on to the center armrest, you'll see it's completely covered in leather. There's a good amount of storage space along with a little cubby in the front section. And working our way to the glove box now, you'll see there's a lot of room for any items that you have to place there. We'll go ahead and take one last look at the seats. And as I mentioned earlier, this does have a full panoramic roof, so we'll go ahead and use the buttons in the center to go ahead and open that up. And you'll see it goes all the way to the back seats there to provide a lot of light for the interior, and also up in the center we have the dome lights. So jumping into the back seats now for the X3 M Competition, there's actually a good amount of room back here. I'm 5'10", I have the front seat set at my height, and you can see I have a few inches in front of my knees and about 2 or 3 inches above my head. You can also recline these seats too if you'd like to. So there's a tab on the side. We can go all the way back just to get a little bit more comfort, and that will provide you with a little bit more headroom as well. These outer 2 seats are also heated, so you have those controls right in the center, along with the 3rd climate zone for your backseat passengers. So you have the temperature, where you'd like the air to go, along with 2 USB-C ports. So very roomy in the back, very accommodative for your backseat passengers. You can also pull down the center armrest to not only provide you with an armrest, but you have 2 cup holders in this as well. And the back seats also have a 40-20-40 split. So if you want to fold down the middle seat by itself, you can do that. Or you can fold them all down to give you a lot more interior space. And in the back seats here, we also have the adjustable sunshade. So you can lock this into place if you'd like to. And of course, that's on both sides. And now last up, we'll go ahead and take a look at the rear storage space. So I'm just going to use the electronic button up underneath the BMW badge, and you will see the lift gate open up, where there's a lot of room. You'll see even with the back seats up, we have a nice flat surface where you can place any items you like to. We can also open up the floor here where you'll see the spare tire and a little bit more storage if you need to use it. You'll see there's also a removable cover, so if you'd like to use this, you can, or you can completely remove that and fold the back seats down. So just by pulling on this latch here, you'll see the back seat fold down, and then with both of them folded, that gives you a lot more storage space. You can utilize this X3M for plenty of interior cargo, which is really nice to see. And then with the power liftgate, we can either close and lock it or just close it. All right, so getting the 2021 BMW X3 M Competition out on the road now. This is one of my favorite SUVs because it combines practicality with performance. So if you're looking for a vehicle or an SUV and you need all of this space, but at the same time, you're someone who still wants performance in your drive, this is the best of both worlds. As I've already shown in today's video, you have so many different configurations that you can put this vehicle into. So earlier I went ahead and configured my M1 and my M2 buttons. So M1 is basically the most comfortable setting that you can put this vehicle into, and I have M2 as all the Sport Plus performance settings. So even just coming around that turn in normal mode, giving it a little bit of gas, it'll get up to the speed limit here. Very conservative, of course, being in those modes. But if we go ahead and push on M2 here, we can also pop it over into the manual setting. Wow, you can hear those shifts. They're very smooth, but you can hear that exhaust in the shifts, and it's so quick. And it handles incredibly well. I mean, everything is in Sport Plus right now. I even have the steering in Sport Plus as well. So if I dial that back down to Comfort, you can feel it get a little bit loose. I'm not on any twisties right now, but in Sport Plus, you definitely feel the feedback is there. It's much more responsive, and I love this for this vehicle. So if you're just driving this to work, you want everything very conservative, you're just driving through traffic, you can basically set this up to be a very comfortable and quiet daily driver, which it is. Right now, it's very comfortable on the inside. There's a motorcycle currently in front of me, and I can barely hear it. It's very well insulated. There's no wind noise or road noise, and I really like that aspect to it. but then you can take this out on some back mountain roads if you'd like to and have a little bit of fun. So I love the best of both worlds for this SUV like this. But now let's go ahead and talk about the visibility. It's really easy to see all around. I love the amount of glass, so looking over both shoulders, you really don't have any issues, which I love. And you have that camera system, as I mentioned earlier. So with the exhaust note back on, we are coming up to this left-hand turn. And you have plenty of power to get out of that turn. It is impressive how well this SUV handles around these corners. BMW is known for having performance in not only their sports cars and their sedans, but even in an SUV like this. It's incredible. It handles so well. I'm very impressed. Let's talk briefly about the interior here, because you are getting a lot. You're getting carbon fiber, you're getting the leather seats, the leather steering wheel. I forgot to mention earlier, you also have the BMW colors stitched onto the seat belts, which is really cool to see. All right, so we'll give it a little bit of gas from third gear as we come around this turn. And I mean, it's there. There's hardly any body roll, which is crazy to say in a vehicle like this, especially being an SUV. I'm sure there's going to be a little bit, but right now, just coming around these turns at a normal speed, it handles so well. It's very planted, and I love the bolstering support of these seats. I also love the fact too that by putting it in M mode, you can also configure your heads-up display. So you can go between just seeing the miles per hour and the speed limit sign to looking at the tach, what gear you're in, along with your miles per hour and the speed limit sign. But I really like seeing what gear you're in. So if you're on the back roads or even out on the track in your X3 M Competition, it's really nice to see that information. That's all you need. Your tach, what gear, and your miles per hour, because sometimes you can forget what gear you're in if you're really focused on the road that you're on. So toning the transmission now back to the first setting there, we'll go ahead and give it a little bit of gas. And there's definitely a delay in the shift, so it's going to be a little bit more relaxed. If we go all the way up into 3 now, or the setting 3, as soon as you hit that paddle, you'll see that tach on the gauge cluster jump. As we come around this left-hand turn here. Wow. They get so crisp, which just adds to the versatility of driving this, not only as a daily, but a fun back mountains road toy, and even very practical for anything you want to place in here. But I think that's going to wrap it up for my walk around review and test drive behind the wheel of the 2021 BMW X3 M Competition. Once again, huge shout out to Hendrick BMW Northlake for providing this performance SUV for me today. Make sure you guys check out their website. That will be down in the description below. And if you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up. Consider smashing that subscribe button if you'd like to stay up to date on our daily uploads. And I'll see you guys in the next video.